Even for September, the heat was brutal. Seacrest City shimmered, the asphalt baking under a relentless sun, sending up waves of visible heat. Ryan Carter was sprawled across the seat of his delivery scooter, eyes glued to his phone.
Hell yeah! A shovel of the ancients, 10 heart steel, I'm golden!
Ryan shot up, a triumphant grin on his face. He was about to lock in his pick for the final round of the Aegis of Legends tournament. Just as he was about to tap the screen, a massive, mustard-yellow pop-up hijacked his entire display. Urge dispatch. Special note. Life-saving medication. Priority pickup and delivery. 10x bonus. Auto-accept countdown. 5 seconds.
Son of a...
The curse flew from his lips as his thumb hammered the cancel button on the edge of the pop-up. The button was grayed out, as immovable as a tombstone. Freaking Dashlink and its mandatory dispatches. The tournament draft timer ran out. The system auto-picked a worthless 1-star unit for him. It was over. His shot at the championship bracket was gone. The screen had already flipped to the Dashlink app, a single address glaring at him. The Avalon Grand, Tower 1, Unit 1701. Next to it, the bonus figure was tempting, but the flashing ×10 was practically blinding.
Life-saving medication.
Ryan muttered, grinding his back teeth.
This better be a real life or death situation, or I swear to God I'm going to find you and deliver a piece of my mind.
He stubbed out his cigarette in a nearby, overflowing takeout container, snatched his helmet, and kicked the scooter to life, twisting the throttle to its stop. The bike fishtailed, nearly throwing him off before shooting into traffic. The tires screeched on the scorching pavement as he cut across 3 lanes. He slammed on the brakes in front of a CVS, the scooter skidding sideways as he practically leaped off and burst through the automatic doors.
Priority pickup. Urgent.
He gasped, shoving his phone screen so close to the pharmacist's face she flinched. Startled by his intensity, she quickly scanned the order.
Okay, I see it.
She turned and retrieved a small white paper bag from behind the counter.
It is a rapid dissolve sublingual tablet for acute asthma attacks. The customer stressed it was extremely urgent.
Before she could finish, Ryan had snatched the bag and was already spinning back toward the door, throwing a muffled,
"Thanks,"
over his shoulder. He threw himself back on the scooter, helmet barely buckled, and gunned it. The engine screamed as he merged back into the chaotic flow of traffic. The destination on his GPS, the Avalon Grand, was the city's most notorious zip code for the ultra-wealthy. Not far, but a world away. The scooter's whine mixed with the cacophony of the street, but Ryan's heart was pounding faster than the engine's RPM. He weaved through the gridlock like a missile, a blur of motion and reckless abandon.
You trying to get killed? You maniac! What the hell was that?
The chorus of angry horns and shocked shouts was left in his wake.
Guess this is my good deed for the decade.
Ryan grumbled to himself, his voice lost in the wind.
Saving a life is supposed to be good karma, right? Because I'm not risking my neck and a dozen traffic tickets for fun.
He was muttering curses, but his eyes were sharp, scanning the road, the traffic lights, and the shrinking distance on the map. The frantic energy of downtown began to fade, replaced by the manicured tranquility of the city's wealthiest district. The Avalon Grand's imposing, wrought iron gates and the stoic, perfectly uniformed security guard came into view. The closer he got, the more impossible his task seemed. A heavy barrier arm blocked the entrance like a declaration of war. The guard in the booth had obviously spotted the incoming delivery scooter and had already stepped outside, raising a white-gloved hand in a universal, non-negotiable stop.
Delivery vehicles are prohibited.
The guard's voice crackled through a small megaphone, cold and official.
Please contact the resident to have them meet you at the gate.
Buddy, you gotta let me through. It is life-saving medicine.
Ryan's voice was strained with desperation, sweat stinging his eyes. He held up the small white pharmacy bag like it was a holy relic.
The person in Tower 1, 1701, is having an asthma attack. They're not gonna be able to come down.
The guard's brow furrowed. His eyes flickered from the bag to Ryan's frantic face, a hint of hesitation crossing his features before being replaced by rigid adherence to the rules.
Rules are rules. I have no authorization to grant you entry. You need to call the resident and have a family member or their staff come down to receive the package.
Chapter 5. Creative Entry.
If she could answer her damn phone, I wouldn't be arguing with you.
Ryan roared, his patience completely gone. There was no time for this. He fixed his gaze on the barrier arm. Without slowing down, he crouched low over the handlebars and twisted the throttle again. The scooter's engine roared, the front wheel lifting slightly from the sudden burst of power. Now, Ryan leaned the scooter into a sharp, impossible angle, almost parallel to the ground. In a move straight out of an action movie, he executed a perfect side drift, sliding the scooter on its side. It shot forward, clearing the few inches of space between the bottom of the barrier arm and the pavement, and emerged on the other side.
Holy crap! That was close!
He gasped, riding the scooter and gunning it again before he could process the insane risk he'd just taken.
Hey, stop! You stopped right there!
The guard's furious. Amplified shouts echoed behind him, but Ryan was already gone. He sped through the pristine, winding roads of the complex. The Avalon Grand was a maze of identical-looking luxury towers. He craned his neck, eyes darting from the GPS to the building numbers.
Tower 1! Tower 1! Got it!
Chapter 6. The Leap. A gleaming glass and steel skyscraper loomed ahead. But another obstacle appeared. The heavy glass doors to the lobby were locked, requiring a key fob.
Damn it!
Ryan slammed his palm against the glass, the sound echoing in the empty, marble-floored lobby. No one was coming. His eyes scanned the building's facade, desperate. Then he saw it. On the second floor, a window in the stairwell was cracked open. He backed up, took a running start, and launched himself at the wall. His right foot found a decorative ledge, and he pushed off hard, his body soaring upward. His fingers scrabbled and found a hold on the marble windowsill. With a grunt, he pulled himself up, muscles screaming, and swung his body through the open window, landing with a thud on the stairwell landing. He didn't even pause. He knew a building this exclusive would have elevators that required a key fob. It was the stairs or nothing. 17 flights. He took them 2 at a time, his lungs burning. Finally, gasping for air, he burst onto the 17th floor landing and pounded on the heavy, reinforced door of Unit 1701.
Delivery! I have your medicine! Open the door!
Silence. He realized with a sinking feeling that the person inside was likely unconscious. His eyes darted back to the stairwell window. He remembered seeing from below that the large apartment balconies were situated just a few feet from these windows. He ran back and leaned out. The street below was a dizzying drop, the cars like tiny metal bugs. A wave of vertigo washed over him.
Oh, hell no! You fall from here, you're a puddle on the sidewalk!
He whispered, his voice trembling.
Damn it! I've come this far!
He took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves. He tucked the medicine securely into his breast pocket and zipped it shut. He stood on the windowsill, his legs shaking. The wind at this height was fierce, whipping his clothes around him. He estimated the distance to the balcony. For maybe 5 feet. A chasm. He locked his eyes on the target, forced himself not to look down, and jumped. Chapter 7. A desperate kiss for a terrifying second. There was nothing but air and the sickening lurch of gravity. His heart leaped into his throat. He landed hard in the center of the balcony, immediately tucking into a forward roll to absorb the impact, his bones jarring from the force.
Cough! Cough! That was insane!
He wheezed, lying on the cool tile, his entire body trembling with adrenaline and residual fear. But there was no time. He scrambled to his feet and looked through the floor-to-ceiling glass doors. A young woman was collapsed on the floor, just inside, her face a terrifying shade of blue. Her chest was heaving violently, but she was making no sound. One hand was outstretched toward the door, a final, failed attempt to let him in. Ryan's heart clenched. He yanked on the balcony door, thankfully unlocked, and rushed inside. He knelt beside her, gently lifting her upper body so she was cradled against his chest. He pulled out the medicine. It was a small white tablet.
A tablet? For an asthma attack? Isn't it supposed to be an inhaler?
No time to question it. He tried to open her mouth to place the tablet under her tongue, but her jaw was locked tight. He could see the shallow rise and fall of her chest slowing down.
Okay, plan B.
He muttered, an idea born of pure desperation flashing in his mind. He popped the tablet into his own mouth, took a large swig from a water bottle on a nearby table, and then, steeling himself, lowered his head. His lips pressed against hers. They were cold, tinged with blue. Well, there goes my first kiss. Hope you appreciate it, lady. The touch was soft but chilling. There was no romance in it, only a frantic, single-minded urgency to save her life. He used his tongue to gently pry open her clenched teeth and let the water and dissolved medicine trickle in her mouth. He felt a faint, reflexive movement in her throat, a swallow. Did it work? He pulled back, his eyes wide with anxiety, watching her. 1 second. 2. The silence in the room was deafening. Suddenly, her body convulsed. A deep, gut-wrenching cough tore from her lungs, followed by another and another. It was a horrible, ragged sound, but it was the most beautiful sound Ryan had ever heard. With each cough, it was as if an invisible plug had been dislodged from her airway. A long, shuddering, greedy gasp followed. Air, real air, was finally reaching her lungs. She began to breathe in ragged, wheezing gulps, but she was breathing. The terrifying bluish tint of her skin began to recede, replaced by a pale, chalky white, and a faint touch of pink returned to her lips. Ryan gently patted her back, watching the miracle unfold, feeling as if every ounce of strength had been drained from his own body. Her coughing slowly subsided into labored but steady breathing. She blinked her eyes open, her gaze unfocused and hazy as she tried to make sense of the world. She was alive. Instinctively, she licked her lips, tasting the faint residue of water and a strange, unfamiliar warmth. Her eyes finally focused on the face of the young man hovering over her, his cheeks flushed, his expression a mixture of relief and extreme awkwardness. A fuzzy, shocking memory surfaced. A touch, a pressure on her lips. The pale skin of her cheeks flooded with crimson. Her eyes widened in disbelief and mortification. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. She could only stare at Ryan with a look of utter, complicated confusion. He saw the look and started babbling.
Hey, don't get the wrong idea. It was the medicine. You couldn't swallow it, and I had to it was an emergency.
Before he could finish his frantic explanation, the heavy front door burst open with a loud bang. A distinguished man in his 50s, his face a mask of terror, was the first one through the door, followed by a team of paramedics with emergency kits and several grim-faced security guards. The man's eyes locked on the scene, his daughter, pale and disheveled, half-slumped in the arms of a complete stranger. His pupils contracted, and a tidal wave of fear, shock, and pure rage washed over his features.
Vivian!
He choked out, his voice raw as he lunged forward. The paramedics were already in motion.
Sir, please step back. We're doctors. Let us handle this.
They expertly and swiftly took the young woman from Ryan's arms, laid her gently on the floor, and began checking her vitals and fitting an oxygen mask over her face. Shoved to the side, Ryan hadn't even had a chance to catch his breath before he felt a gaze as sharp and heavy as a physical weight land on him.
Mr. Lin, her vitals are stabilizing. She is out of immediate danger.
One of the paramedics announced. The man, Mr. Lin, sagged with relief for a split second before whirling around, his eyes locking onto Ryan like a hawk spotting its prey. The look was cold, accusatory, and carried the unmistakable pressure of a man accustomed to absolute power.
Who are you?
He demanded, his voice low and dangerous.
How did you get in here? And what did you do to my daughter?
The security guards, who had followed him in, now closed ranks around Ryan, their expressions hostile, ready to tackle him at a moment's notice. The atmosphere in the room, which moments before had been one of frantic rescue, plummeted to an icy standoff. Ryan opened his mouth to explain, but a weak voice cut him off.
Dad.
It was Vivian. She had pulled the oxygen mask slightly away from her face, her voice thin but clear. She raised a trembling hand and pointed a shaky finger at Ryan.
It was him.
She gasped, forcing the words out.
He saved me. Or else I would have.
She didn't have the strength to finish, but her eyes, fixed on her father, were filled with an urgent certainty, pleading with him not to misunderstand. The man's expression shifted, the raw hostility softening into something more complex and guarded.
Young man, step outside with me.
Mr. Lin said. It wasn't a request. He turned and walked out of the apartment. Ryan followed him into the hallway. Mr. Lin pulled a checkbook and a sleek fountain pen from his jacket pocket. He held them out to Ryan, his tone flat and dismissive.
You saved my daughter. I'm grateful. Write down whatever number you think is fair.
The man's condescending, high and mighty attitude grated on Ryan's last nerve. This arrogant prick, he thought. I nearly died a dozen times getting here to save your daughter, and this is how you treat me? Like I'm a hired help? He snatched the checkbook and pen, and with a defiant flourish, scribbled a number before handing it back. Mr. Lin glanced at the check. His composure finally cracked.
$20 million!
He stammered, his face a mask of disbelief.
What is the problem? Can't afford it? Or do you think your daughter's life isn't worth that much?
Ryan tilted his chin up, a challenging glint in his eye. He honestly didn't expect to get a dime. He just wanted to wipe that smug look off the man's face. A humorless chuckle escaped Mr. Lin's lips. He regained his composure, his expression unreadable.
Heh, you've got guts, kid. A lot of guts. 20 million, my daughter's life is priceless. Of course it is worth that. Go home and wait. The money will be wired to your account within the hour.
Wait, for real?
Ryan was stunned. He had called what he thought was an impossible bluff, and the man hadn't even flinched.
Of course. I am Leo Lin. I always keep my word.
Ryan floated out of the building in a daze, the number echoing in his head. $20 million. His phone buzzed. He fumbled it out of his pocket. It was a text alert from his bank. Your account ending in XXXX received a wire transfer on 09/XX at XX. XX for the amount of $20,000,000,000. Your new balance is $20,000,128. 65. Ryan's eyes bulged. His mouth fell open. The hand holding the phone started to shake uncontrollably. He counted the zeros. Once, twice, 3 times.
No! Freaking! Way!
He breathed, his voice trembling.
Is this real? Is this a system glitch? Am I dreaming?
He pinched his thigh hard. The sharp sting of pain was undeniable. A wild, unhinged laugh erupted from his chest as he threw his head back and roared at the sky.
I'm rich!
The first thing Ryan did was drive back to the Dashlink dispatch center. He strode past his former coworkers and kicked open the door to his supervisor's second-floor office. A balding, overweight man in his 40s looked up from his desk, startled and then enraged when he saw it was Ryan.
What the hell is wrong with you, Carter? Don't you know how to knock? That is a $500 fine, and there goes your monthly bonus!
Ryan just smirked. He peeled off his sweat-stained, grimy uniform shirt and threw it squarely in the man's face.
You can take your fine and shove it. I quit. And if you say one more word to me, you'll regret it.
Ryan snarled, his voice low and menacing. The supervisor, stunned into silence by this sudden transformation, could only sputter, his face red with fury and confusion. Ryan felt a savage surge of satisfaction. He turned and walked out, leaving his boss sputtering amidst the stunned silence of the other drivers, whose faces were filled with a mixture of shock and awe. His first stop was the mall. He walked into a designer boutique and bought the most expensive suit they had. Staring at himself in the mirror, he thought, damn, the clothes really do make the man. I had no idea I was this handsome. Next, he bought the newest iPhone and a top-of-the-line Samsung Galaxy Fold. Finally, he walked into a Porsche dealership and paid cash for a brand-new Cayman. Chapter 14. The text after the shopping spree, Ryan drove his new car back to his cramped, run-down apartment. The contrast was jarring. He flopped onto his bed, the whole day feeling like a bizarre fever dream.
I'm a multi-millionaire,
He said to the ceiling.
Okay, what is the plan? First, get my parents on a round-the-world cruise. Then buy them a house downtown.
His new phone buzzed, interrupting his thoughts. A text from an unknown number. He opened it.
You left so suddenly. I didn't even get a chance to thank you. If it wasn't for you, I don't think I'd be here right now. My name is Vivian Lynn, by the way.
Ryan sat bolt upright. It was her, the girl from the apartment. He hesitated for a moment, then typed back.
How'd you get my number? Your dad pulled me outside and told me to name my price on a check. I got the message, so I left.
The message came out colder than he intended, his lingering resentment toward Leo Lynn seeping through. A few minutes later, she replied.
It was on the delivery order details. And I am so sorry about my father. He has spent his life in the cutthroat world of business, and he tends to assume the worst in people. His way of solving problems can be impersonal. I apologize on his behalf.
Her sincerity disarmed him. The anger he felt toward her father began to fade. Man, why am I being a jerk to her? It's not her fault. He chided himself. He quickly typed a new message.
It is fine. You don't have to apologize. My tone was out of line. How are you feeling? Are you okay?
The reply was almost instantaneous.
Asterisk, asterisk. Much better. The doctors want me to stay for a few days for observation. And they told me what you did. How you jumped from the 17th floor to get to me. Honestly, thank you so much. Without you, I'd be a... Asterisk, asterisk.
The memory of that jump still made his legs feel like jelly.
I wasn't really thinking, just knew I had to get to you. Looking back on it now, it kind of terrifies me.
Honestly, I don't think 20 million was enough. A life is priceless, especially when it involves two of them. I'd really like to thank you in person. Could I take you to dinner when I get out of the hospital?
Sure.
Ryan replied, a small smile touching his lips.
Great! I'll text you when I'm out. Oh, I still don't know my hero's name.
Fyan Ryan Carter.
Chapter 15. The 1% after their conversation, Ryan couldn't shake the feeling that the names Leo Lynn and Vivian Lynn were familiar. He pulled out his new phone and Googled them. The results made him almost drop the device. Leo Lynn, CEO and founder of Lynn Global Conglomerate, real estate mogul, richest man in Seacrest City, ranked 60th on the Forbes Global Billionaires list. Vivian Lynn, Leo Lynn's only daughter, known to have a delicate constitution since childhood. Fiercely protected by her father, she rarely appeared in public. The undisputed princess of the Lynn dynasty. Ryan let out a low whistle. He hadn't just saved some rich girl. He had saved the daughter of one of the most powerful men on the planet. Suddenly, $20 million didn't seem like such an astronomical sum for a man like Leo Lynn. It was probably less than a rounding error.
No wonder he was so arrogant.
Ryan mused.
The guy can definitely back it up.
A few days later, his phone chimed with a new text for Vivian.
Are you free tonight? For that thank you dinner we talked about. I made a reservation at the Pinnacle at 7. Is that okay? I can have a driver pick you up.
The Pinnacle. Ryan had heard of it. It was the most exclusive 5-star restaurant in the city, perched on top of the tallest skyscraper. A single meal there cost more than he used to make in a year of deliveries.
Sounds good.
At 6:50 p.m., a silent, black Maybach pulled up in front of Ryan's rundown apartment building, looking as out of place as a spaceship. A chauffeur in a black suit got out and opened the rear door for him. The car glided toward the glittering heart of the city, stopping at the base of a tower that seemed to scrape the stars. A valet opened his door and led him to a private elevator that shot straight to the top floor. The elevator doors opened onto a scene of breathtaking luxury. The restaurant was a sweep of understated elegance, with floor-to-ceiling windows offering a panoramic view of the sparkling city lights below. A hostess led him to a secluded table by the window, where Vivian was already waiting. She was wearing a simple white dress that highlighted her delicate beauty. Her face had regained its color, though a hint of post-illness paleness remained. When she saw him, her eyes lit up, and she stood with a genuine, slightly shy smile.
Ryan, you made it!
Hey, are you feeling better?
He asked, suddenly nervous in her presence. She had an aura of quiet grace that was completely foreign to him.
Much better. Please sit. Don't be so formal. It is just us tonight.
She said, her voice soft and reassuring. As he sat down, he felt a bit like an imposter.
I wasn't sure what you like to eat, so I just ordered all the chef's specials.
She said with a small laugh.
I'm easy. Anything's fine.
He replied, feeling a little out of his depth. Vivian smiled.
You're kind of adorable.
Ha!
Ryan blinked, caught off guard. The food began to arrive, each dish a work of art. They talked as they ate, mostly Vivian asking questions and Ryan answering.
So you really slid your scooter under the barrier arm? That is incredible!
She said, her eyes wide with amazement as he recounted his journey to her apartment.
I was desperate.
He said, scratching the back of his neck.
I was worried about you.
At his words, a faint blush colored her cheeks. She looked down, fiddling with the food on her plate.
And later, you know, that is how you gave me the medicine.
Here it comes, Ryan thought, his stomach doing a little flip.
Oh, yeah, about that. It was an emergency. Your jaw was locked, and I couldn't get the tablet in, so I'm really sorry if I crossed a line.
Seeing his flustered, apologetic state, Vivian let out a small laugh. Her cheeks were pink, but her eyes sparkled with a playful light.
I'm not blaming you, silly. If you hadn't crossed a line, I wouldn't be here. It is just...
Her voice dropped to a near whisper.
That was my first kiss.
Boom! The words hit Ryan like a thunderbolt. He blurted out.
Mine too!
Vivian froze, her eyes widening. Then a deep, beautiful blush spread across her face, reaching all the way to the tips of her ears. She mumbled under her breath.
So, it was a first for both of us.
The air suddenly crackled with a new, awkward tension. Neither of them knew what to say next. The silence was broken by a smooth, confident voice.
Vivian, darling, what a surprise to see you here. And who is this? Your new boyfriend?
A tall, stunning woman in a fire-red dress approached their table. She looked to be in her 40s, but her makeup was flawless and her figure impeccable. The moment Vivian saw her, her warm expression turned to ice.
What I do and where I go is none of your business,
she said, her tone dripping with contempt.
And who gave you permission to call me that? A homewrecker who schemed her way into my family has no right to speak to me.
The woman's smile faltered for a fraction of a second, but she quickly recovered.
Vivian, you misunderstand. It was your father who pursued me. When I met him, he told me he and your mother were already divorced. I never would have gotten involved otherwise.
Vivian didn't reply, just scoffed and turned to look out the window. The atmosphere was thick with hostility. Just then, a handsome man in a white suit, probably in his early 30s, walked up to the woman.
Rachel, the clients are waiting. We shouldn't keep them.
The woman, Rachel, nodded.
Vivian, you two enjoy your meal. I have to get back to business.
With that, she turned and walked away. After they were gone, Vivian turned back, a sad, weary smile on her face.
I'm sorry you had to see that. I had no idea she'd be here.
Hey, don't worry about it.
Ryan said with a shrug.
It is like something out of a TV show, the rich family drama, the evil stepmother, the fight for the inheritance. I thought that stuff was all made up. Pretty cool to see a live performance of the rightful heiress confronts the scheming usurper. This meal was worth every penny.
Vivian stared at him for a second, then burst out laughing, the earlier tension melting away.
What are you talking about? Rightful heiress?
She said, playfully rolling her eyes.
You think this? This is some period drama?
Hey, if it got you to smile, it worked.
Ryan said with a grin.
Now eat up. You'll need your strength for the next round against the evil queen.
Okay.
Vivian laughed, picking up her fork, her mood completely restored. Meanwhile, Rachel Wong and the man in the white suit didn't go to meet any clients. Instead, they entered a private suite on a lower floor. The moment the door closed, Rachel's poised demeanor shattered. She threw herself into the man's arms, her voice shaking with rage.
That little brat! Talking to me like that in public. I wanted to slap her right across the face. Just you wait. When our plan is complete, I'll make her pay for every single word.
The man stroked her back calmly.
Patience, my love. Soon, everything will be ours. Then you can deal with her however you please.
Weeks passed. In the beginning, Vivian and Ryan texted constantly. But as time went on, their different worlds seemed to pull them apart, and the messages became less frequent. Ryan understood. They were from two separate universes. A lasting connection was a long shot. He had since bought a sprawling 1,500 square foot condo downtown. He was in the middle of a gaming session when his phone buzzed. He glanced at it. The number was instantly recognizable. It was Vivian.
Ryan, are you busy? I am at the Elysian Fields Karaoke Club with a friend. Room 302. I don't know why, but I feel really dizzy. Can you come get me?
A cold dread washed over Ryan.
She has been drugged!
He didn't hesitate. He grabbed his keys and sprinted his car. Meanwhile, in a loud, flashing karaoke room, Vivian clutched her head, her voice a mixture of anger and confusion as she confronted her friend, Chloe.
Why is he here? You said it would just be the two of us. You know I can't stand him.
Chloe looked flustered, her eyes darting around the room.
Vivian, don't be mad. I didn't know he was coming. I guess he just happened to be here. Come on, the more the merrier, right?
She couldn't meet Vivian's accusatory gaze. Vivian's head was spinning. The room felt like it was tilting, the flashing lights and booming music making her sick. She tried to stand, but her legs buckled, and she fell back onto the plush sofa. That's when a man in a flashy designer suit who had been lurking in the corner sauntered over and sat down beside her, far too close for comfort.
Vivian, my dear, where are you going?
He purred, his breath reeking of expensive cologne.
Why do you hate me so much? Whatever I did wrong, I'll change. I promise.
Vivian recoiled, but he just moved closer. She tried to push him away, but her arms felt like lead.
Spencer, get away from me!
She slurred, her voice weak.
Chloe, we're leaving!
She looked to her friend for help, but Chloe just took a step back, her face a mask of guilt and fear. In that moment, Vivian's heart sank. A chilling realization, colder than the drug coursing through her veins, washed over her. She had been betrayed by her best friend. Spencer's grin widened, and he leaned in, his face just inches from hers.
Leaving, Vivian. You're in no condition to go anywhere. Let me take you home. I'll take very good care of you.
He reached out to put his arm around her. Despair closed in on her like a shroud. Boom! The door to the room flew off its hinges, slamming against the wall with a deafening crash that momentarily silenced the music. A figure stood silhouetted in the doorway, panting, his eyes scanning the room like a predator before locking onto Vivian and the man leaning over her.
Ryan.
Vivian breathed, the name a faint whisper. Seeing him there, a wave of relief washed over her, and her tenuous grip on consciousness finally slipped.
Who the hell are you? Get out!
Spencer shouted, enraged at the interruption. Ryan ignored him. He crossed the room in 2 long strides, shoved Spencer aside, and gently pulled Vivian behind him, shielding her with his body. Spencer stumbled back, regaining his footing.
Do you have any idea who I am? Let her go and get the hell out of here before you regret it.
I'm the guy who is about to beat your ass.
Ryan said, his voice dangerously low.
You're dead!
Spencer screamed, grabbing an empty beer bottle from the table and swinging it at Ryan's head. Ryan ducked, the bottle whistling past his ear. He moved with surprising speed, a sharp chop landing on Spencer's wrist. Spencer yelped in pain, the bottle clattering to the floor. Before he could recover, Ryan followed up with a vicious sidekick that sent Spencer flying back onto the sofa, clutching his stomach and gasping for air.
Stop him!
Spencer wheezed to his friends. A couple of Spencer's cronies, a pair of slick-looking trust fund kids, moved to block Ryan's path. They were soft, spoiled, and had never been in a real fight in their lives. Ryan dispatched them with a few quick, brutal movements, leaving them groaning on the floor. He scooped the unconscious Vivian into his arms and walked out without a backward glance. Chapter 21. The guardian Ryan carried Vivian to his car, carefully placing her in the passenger seat and buckling her in. He sped to the nearest hospital, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. After an hour in the emergency room, Vivian's system was flushed and she was slowly coming to. She blinked open her eyes, disoriented by the harsh fluorescent lights of the hospital room. When her vision cleared, she saw Ryan sitting in a chair by her bed. His head was bowed slightly, and he was just watching over her, a silent, steady presence in the sterile room.
Ryan?
She whispered, her voice hoarse. His head snapped up, his expression immediately filled with concern.
You're awake. How are you feeling? Are you okay?
She shook her head slightly.
Better. Just weak. You brought me here.
Yeah, I got your text and knew something was wrong. I got there just as that scumbag was all over you. So I gave him a flying kick and took out his buddies for good measure.
Ryan said, puffing out his chest with a bit of theatrical flair. A small smile touched Vivian's lips, followed by a weak giggle.
A flying kick!
Hey, if you can laugh, you must be okay.
Ryan said, a wave of relief washing over him. He had been worried the trauma of the night would have broken her spirit.
Thank you, Ryan.
She said, her voice soft and sincere.
You saved me again. I don't know how I can ever repay you.
You could always marry me,
he said with a wink, trying to lighten the mood.
Get over yourself,
she retorted, a blush creeping up her pale cheeks. But she couldn't hide the way her heart fluttered at his joke. The air in the room suddenly felt charged, intimate. Ryan smiled, sensing her embarrassment.
I'm kidding. You must be starving after all that. I'll go get you something to eat.
He started to stand, but Vivian's hand shot out and grabbed his arm.
No,
she said, her voice small, a flicker of fear in her eyes.
Don't leave me alone.
Her vulnerability hit him right in the chest. He sat back down, his voice gentle.
I won't. I'm not going anywhere. Tell you what, I know a place that makes the best soup in the city. How about I take you there?
Okay,
she whispered, her grip on his arm relaxing. Chapter 22. First stirrings, Ryan helped Vivian out of the hospital and drove her to a small, unassuming 24-hour diner he frequented.
Mama Rosa,
he called out as they entered.
The usual for me, and a bowl of your famous chicken noodle soup for my friend.
A kindly older woman with a warm smile turned from the grill.
Ryan, honey! And who is this pretty young lady? Your girlfriend.
Ryan and Vivian both blushed.
No, Mama Rosa, just a friend!
He stammered, helping Vivian into a booth.
Uh-huh, a friend.
The woman said with a knowing wink.
Coming right up.
Soon, 2 steaming bowls of soup were placed in front of them.
Try this,
Ryan said, pushing the chicken noodle soup toward Vivian.
It is her secret recipe. Cures anything.
Vivian took a tentative sip. The rich, savory broth was instantly comforting, warming her from the inside out and soothing her battered system. Her eyes lit up.
Wow, this is amazing!
Told you,
Ryan said with a satisfied grin.
You eat up. I'm gonna go help her clean up a bit. Her husband passed a few years back, and her kids live out of state. I try to help out when I can.
Go ahead,
Vivian said, smiling. She watched as Ryan went behind the counter, effortlessly bussing tables and washing dishes, chatting and laughing with Mama Rosa. Every girl dreams of a hero, someone who will swoop in and save her when she needs it most. Vivian had always thought such notions were the stuff of fairy tales. In her world, men were drawn to her status, her family name. But then there was Ryan, a little rough around the edges, maybe, but kind, brave, and fiercely protective. The man who had twice appeared like a guardian angel to pull her back from the brink. She felt her heartbeat quicken, a powerful, undeniable flutter in her chest. She wasn't sure if it was gratitude, admiration, or something more, but she knew one thing for certain. Ryan Carter made her feel safer and more alive than anyone she had ever met. Chapter 23. The Kiss.
Hey, Earth to Vivian, what are you daydreaming about?
Ryan said, waving a hand in front of her face.
Oh, nothing,
she said, blushing and quickly returning her attention to her soup. When she was finished, she leaned back with a contented sigh.
I'm full. This place is a real hidden gem.
If you like it, I'll bring you here all the time,
Ryan said, his voice soft.
I'm getting tired,
She said, resting her head in her hand.
Okay, I'll take you home.
He drove her back to her condo at the Avalon Grand. As he was about to say goodnight at the door, she stopped him.
Will you come up for a bit?
Ryan hesitated, but the thought of her being alone after what had happened tonight didn't sit right with him. He nodded. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with unspoken feelings. Vivian took off her coat, her fingers trembling slightly. It was the first time she had ever invited a man into her home this late.
Can I get you something to drink?
She asked, her voice a little shaky.
Just some water is fine.
She filled 2 glasses, but as she turned to bring them over, her legs, still weak from the ordeal, gave out. She cried out as she started to fall. Ryan moved in a blur, catching her and pulling her flush against his body, the glasses shattering on the floor. They were inches apart, chest to chest, their hearts hammering in unison. He stared down at her beautiful, terrified, and trusting face. His throat went dry. Slowly, deliberately, he lowered his head. Vivian's eyes fluttered shut, her long lashes trembling against her cheeks. His lips met hers, gently at first, a soft, questioning touch. Then, as if a dam had broken, the kiss deepened, becoming hungry, passionate, and possessive. His arms tightened around her, pulling her closer until there was no space left between them. The world spun away. All Vivian could feel was the firm, warm pressure of his lips, the strength of his arms around her, and the dizzying sensation of being completely, utterly claimed. She responded instinctively, her own kiss clumsy, but full of a longing she hadn't known she possessed. When they finally broke apart, they were both breathless, their foreheads resting against each other. Ryan's eyes were dark with an intensity that made her weak in the knees. Her own face was flushed, her lips swollen and tingling.
I'm sorry,
Ryan began, his voice hoarse. But Vivian silenced him by surging up and kissing him again, pouring all her fear, relief, gratitude, and burgeoning love into the act. This time, there was no hesitation, only certainty. They clung to each other in the silent living room, a profound sense of peace and rightness settling over them. Exhausted and emotionally spent, they drifted off to sleep, wrapped in each other's arms on the sofa. Chapter 24, The Ultimatum.
What is the meaning of this?
A furious roar shattered the morning calm. Ryan and Vivian shot awake, blinking in the bright morning light to see Leo Lin standing in the doorway, his face purple with rage, his eyes fixed on Ryan with murderous intent. He had stopped by to bring his daughter breakfast, only to find this. Vivian scrambled to her feet, instinctively moving to stand between her father and Ryan.
You're protecting him! A broke delivery boy who has the audacity to touch my daughter! Vivian, step aside!
Leo bellowed, his finger trembling as he pointed at Ryan. Vivian stood her ground.
He saved my life! Twice! Last night, Spencer Joe drugged me. If Ryan hadn't come, do you know what would have happened? He's always there when I need him. Where were you, Dad? You've been so wrapped up with Find It Woman that you haven't called me in over a month. Mum always told me that if there is one person you think of first when you're in trouble, that is the person worth spending your life with. For me, that used to be you. Now, it is him. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to marry Ryan, and there is nothing you can do about it.
Her words struck Leo Lin like a physical blow. He staggered back, the anger draining from his face, replaced by a profound, gut-wrenching guilt. She was right. He had neglected her. He had failed her. His phone rang, jarring him from his thoughts. He looked at the caller ID, and his expression turned to stone. He answered, his voice a low growl.
Your son got beat up. He is lucky he is not dead. He dared to drug my daughter. You tell that little punk his life is over. And that partnership deal between our companies, forget it. In fact, you can expect your entire company to be bankrupt by tomorrow.
He hung up without waiting for a reply. The fury he felt for Ryan now redirected with laser-like focus on its proper target. Ryan stepped out from behind Vivian, his gaze steady and unafraid as he met Leo Lin's eyes.
There is an old saying, Mr. Lin. Rags to riches, riches to rags. Fortunes can change. I know I can give Vivian the life she deserves. 30 years east, 30 years west. Don't ever underestimate a young man with nothing to lose.
Leo Lin stared at the young man before him, and for a moment he saw a reflection of his younger self, brash, determined, and hopelessly in love. He took a deep breath, his anger finally abating.
Talk is cheap, kid.
He said, his voice quiet but firm.
You want to prove yourself, show up at my office tomorrow morning. We'll see what you're really made of.
Ryan blinked.
What?
Dad, does that mean you approve?
Vivian cried, her face alight with hope.
It means he has to earn it.
Leo said, his eyes still locked on Ryan.
My daughter's hand in marriage is not given away lightly, and one more thing.
He added, his voice dropping to a warning tone.
Until you are married, you will behave like a gentleman. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Ryan said immediately.
Good, I'm feeling a little tired. I'm going to go.
Leo turned and left, looking older and more weary than Ryan had ever seen him. Vivian threw her arms around Ryan, her laughter bubbling over with pure joy.
Did you hear that? He is giving you a chance. He is letting you work at the company. He is accepting you.
Ryan held her tight, a slow smile spreading across his face.
Yeah, I heard. And I'm not going to let you down, Viv. I swear it.
Dressed in his new designer suit, Ryan stood before the gleaming, monolithic skyscraper that was the headquarters of Lin Global Conglomerate. He took a deep breath and walked inside. After announcing himself at the reception desk, a poised, professional woman who introduced herself as Mr. Lin's executive assistant came to greet him.
Mr. Carter, Mr. Lin asked me to escort you to your new department.
Thank you,
Ryan said, following her. To his surprise, she didn't lead him to the sleek, open-plan offices of sales or marketing. Instead, they descended to the building's basement and entered the office of maintenance and security. Seeing his confusion, the assistant offered a polite, practiced smile.
Mr. Lin believes every position in the company is vital to its operation. He feels this is the best place for you to start learning the business from the ground up, Mr. Zhang. He is here.
A burly, barrel-chested man in a security supervisor's uniform nodded.
Got it.
The assistant departed, leaving Ryan with his new boss. Zhang gave him a quick, dismissive once-over.
Lee!
He barked.
Show the new guy the ropes. Tour of the building, rules and regs, the whole deal.
A friendly-looking man in his late 50s with a kind face stood up.
You got it, boss. Come on, kid. I'm Lee Jenkins. Been here more than a decade.
Ryan Carter. Nice to meet you, Mr. Jenkins.
Ryan said, shaking his hand.
Just Lee is fine.
The older man said with a warm smile.
Let's get started. This place might not be glamorous, but without us, this whole billion-dollar tower grinds to a halt.
For the rest of the day, Lee patiently walked Ryan through every floor, every corridor, and every utility closet of the massive building. After a long, grueling day, Ryan drove back to Vivian's condo. The moment he walked in the door, he was hit by the acrid smell of smoke. He ran to the kitchen to find Vivian, wearing a comically oversized apron, frantically waving a dish towel at a smoking pan on stove. The counters were a disaster zone of spilled ingredients and several plates of blackened, unrecognizable food. She looked up at him, her face smudged with flour, her eyes wide with panic and embarrassment.
Ryan, you're home! I tried to make you dinner, but I think I broke it.
Seeing her looking so flustered and adorable, a wave of warmth washed over Ryan, erasing all the day's exhaustion. He strode over, calmly turned off the burner, and covered the smoking pan with a lid.
Hey, it is okay,
he said softly, gently taking the dish towel from her hand.
Go relax. I've got this.
No, I want to watch,
she said, her voice small.
Okay.
he said, smiling.
Then prepare to be amazed.
An hour later, they were sitting down to a delicious, perfectly cooked meal of steak, roasted potatoes, and asparagus.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing!
Vivian said after the first bite, her eyes shining.
Is there anything you can't do?
Glad you like it.
Ryan said, his heart swelling. As they ate, Vivian asked about his first day.
So how was it? Which department did my dad put you in? Did anyone give you a hard time?
It is a pretty important department.
Ryan said casually, not wanting her to worry.
And everyone was great. I think I'm going to learn a lot.
Chapter 28, The Overheard Plot. Over the next few days, under Lee's patient guidance, Ryan quickly learned the ins and outs of the entire building's infrastructure. One morning, the entire building was sweltering. The central air conditioning was out. Zhang dispatched Ryan and Lee to find the problem. They traced it to a faulty relay in the main ventilation shaft on the executive floor. Being younger and more agile, Ryan volunteered to crawl into the cramped ductwork to fix it. Half an hour later, with the AC humming back to life, Ryan was about to climb out when he heard voices from a nearby office vent. He recognized one immediately. It was Rachel Wong. Curiosity piqued. He crawled closer and peered through the grate. Rachel was sitting on the lap of the man in the white suit from the restaurant, her arms draped around his neck.
His health is deteriorating faster than I expected,
she said, her voice laced with venomous satisfaction.
It won't be long now. Soon, this entire company will be ours.
The man, Dylan Shun, smiled coldly.
Everything is proceeding as planned. The neurotoxin is untraceable mixed into his daily health supplements. It just looks like he is aging poorly and overworked. Combined with the bad investments we've orchestrated, the board is already losing faith in him. Soon, you, his devoted, loving partner, will be poised to step in and help him manage the company.
You're brilliant.
Rachel cooed, kissing him.
Once Lynn Global is ours, I'll make that little brat Vivian wish she'd never been born.
That idiot Spencer Zhao almost ruined everything with his pathetic stunt.
Dylan sneered.
But it worked out in our favor. Leo is so busy crushing the Zhao family's company that he is not paying attention to the real threat right under his nose.
They continued to discuss their plans in hushed tones, detailing how they were bribing board members and setting up offshore accounts to siphon company funds. Chapter 29, The Truth. Ryan's blood ran cold. He felt a surge of pure, unadulterated rage, but he forced himself to remain perfectly still. He carefully positioned his phone, recording every word, every damning detail of their treasonous conversation. After they left, Ryan climbed out of the ventilation shaft, his face a grim mask. He had to tell Leo. That evening, he had Vivian invite her father over for a reconciliation dinner. When Leo arrived, Ryan played him the recording. At first, Leo's face was a storm of disbelief and denial. But as the recording played on, his expression crumbled into one of horror and profound betrayal. He staggered back into a chair, his face in his hands, his body racked with silent sobs. To be brought so low, not by a business rival, but by the woman he had trusted and brought into his home. It was a wound deeper than any financial loss.
Mr. Lin,
Ryan said, his voice steady.
We can't afford to be emotional right now. We need a plan. We have to play along, gather more evidence, and figure out exactly what they're giving you, so we can find an antidote. If we move too soon, they'll get spooked and either run or do something even more drastic.
Leo Lin looked up, the grief in his eyes replaced by the cold, hard glint of a predator. The titan of industry was back.
You're right,
he said, his voice dangerously quiet.
I was a fool!
Chapter 30. The countermove Leo's gaze on Ryan had transformed completely. Gone was the disdain, the suspicion. In its place was respect, gratitude, and a shared purpose.
What is your plan, Ryan?
Leo asked.
I'll back you 100%.
We turn their plan against them.
Ryan said.
First, you need to act even sicker, more confused. Make them think they're winning, so they get careless. Second, we need to get a sample of those health supplements to a private lab for analysis. Third, I'll use my position in security to monitor them and get hard evidence of their financial crimes. And fourth, we secretly contact your most trusted lawyer and loyal board members, and we prepare to bring the whole damn thing crashing down on their heads.
Done,
Leo said, his eyes burning with a cold fire.
Let the games begin.
Chapter 31. Setting the trap for the next few weeks, Leo Lin gave the performance of his life. He appeared weak, forgetful, and increasingly dependent on Rachel, who, along with Dylan, grew bolder and more arrogant with each passing day. Meanwhile, Ryan, the invisible man in the maintenance uniform, was everywhere. He planted listening devices, copied files from their computers late at night, and documented every illegal transaction. The lab results came back from a specialist in Switzerland. The poison was a rare, slow-acting neurotoxin designed to mimic natural organ failure. Crucially, the report also included the formula for an antidote. Leo immediately began taking it in secret. The final piece of the puzzle fell into place when Ryan's surveillance caught Dylan on a recorded call, arranging for a massive transfer of funds to an offshore account. The final step before they planned to let Leo die and seize control of the company. They had them. Chapter 32. The final act. The next morning, Rachel brought Leo his daily supplement drink, her face a perfect mask of loving concern.
Here you are, Leo. Darling, drink this. It will give you strength.
Just as the cup touched his lips, the bedroom door flew open. Ryan and Vivian entered, followed by Leo's lawyer and 2 uniformed police officers. Rachel froze, her face paling.
Vivian, what is the meaning of this? Can't you see your father needs his rest?
Leo pushed himself up in bed. The frail, dying man was gone. In his place was the powerful, commanding CEO, his eyes blazing with cold fury.
Rest!
He boomed, his voice resonating with power.
A little more of your rest, and I'd be resting in peace, Rachel!
Leo, what are you talking about? You're not well!
She stammered. Ryan stepped forward and hit play on his phone. Rachel's own voice filled the room, cold and clear.
The neurotoxin is untraceable. Soon, this entire company will be ours.
She collapsed to the floor, babbling incoherently.
It wasn't me. It was Dylan. He made me do it.
The lawyer stepped forward.
Rachel Wang, you are under arrest for attempted murder, conspiracy, and massive corporate fraud. Dylan Shen was apprehended at the airport an hour ago.
As the police handcuffed a hysterical Rachel and led her away, a profound sense of relief settled over the room. Leo got out of bed and walked over to Ryan. He placed a heavy hand on his shoulder, his eyes filled with a gratitude that went beyond words.
You were right, Ryan,
he said, his voice thick with emotion.
I misjudged you. You saved my life, my daughter's life, and my company. You have more integrity and courage than any man I've ever known.
He looked at Vivian, who was beaming at Ryan with tears of pride in her eyes.
The future of this family and this company is in good hands.
Ryan smiled.
Just one more thing, Mr. Lin. All this happened because you let the wrong person into your life. The person who stood by you when you had nothing, who helped you build this empire. Your ex-wife, she was the one who loved you, not your money. Maybe it is time to fix that too.
Leo looked stunned. Then a deep, profound regret filled his eyes. He nodded slowly.
You're right, son. You're right about everything.
A few months later, the scandal had passed, and Lin Global was stronger than ever. Ryan, now a rising star in the company, had proven himself not just a hero, but a brilliant businessman. And Leo Lin, humbled and changed, was taking the first tentative steps toward reconciling with the woman he had foolishly let go of so many years ago. At a lavish, beautiful wedding overlooking the ocean, Ryan Carter and Vivian Lin exchanged their vows. Their story, born from a desperate emergency alert, had become a testament to the fact that sometimes the most unexpected delivery can change your entire world.